Warning, the following video contains strong language which may be offensive to some viewers and or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Join us at WLFE-DB.com for upcoming shows and so much more.
Hey everyone, it's Tuesday night again. You know what that means, don't you? It's time to join Mike and Christy for another episode of Wheresmysage, a show hosted by a psychic medium and a guy on a quest to find Bigfoot. Who would have thought? Together, they will take you on all sorts of adventures, and not with lots of different people. Christy even gives readings. It's time to sit back, get up and get ready. You can't sample the universe sitting down. Your hosts are waiting. Come on, let's go.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Mike with my wonderful co-host, Christy London. And how are you tonight, Christy? So this evening, I gave Christy the chance of unmuting herself and muting herself. And guess who muted herself first tonight? So.
And now I'm going to mute myself because my dog is barking. So, shh.
Yeah. So. Welcome to Wheresmysage, a taste of the universe, and we are here tonight, getting out with a guest. And there's Christy, my co-host.
You know, in my defense, just saying, you pulled that with me like right as we had to like get ready to go on, and the intro was starting. Oh, want to mute yourself? What? You always mute me.
Yep. Because I'm always messing it up. I don't know.
I just assumed you were going to do your job. I mean, silly me.
The universe is come back around tonight, and we're just going with the flow. So
yeah, I'm doing well. How are you tonight?
I am better. Touch of the bug the last half of the week, but you can't just have the touch of the bug anymore. Everybody thinks you're dying from something. And
I mean, I thought I was pretty clear. I'm not gonna lie. I thought I was pretty specific, but hey, I guess it doesn't matter these days.
I appreciate the well wishes from everybody and the get wells. I do appreciate that. My mom thought I was, in the ET, quarantine chamber like everybody else in my family, but not me. So
your mom is allowed to get worried, though. She's your mom.
Yeah. But so let's say a couple of hellos. Good evening, Sandy. And hi, Karen. We're not doing readings tonight.
Yeah. No, we have a really cool guest on coming on tonight, you guys.
So Lori's on.
Hello.
And hi, Liz.
Hello.
Hi, Carrie. Thank you for sharing on Instagram. And it just reminded me, that was weird.
That was definitely you, not me.
No, that was something on the other side of the wall that decided to jump off the wall. And the dogs are on the other side of the house. So,
even better.
Yeah. Not in here.
Okay.
Hi, Margaret.
Hello, Margaret.
Hello, Amanda.
Thank you all for joining us tonight.
And hello, Denise. So, yes. So before I forget, I'll get through that. Please like, share, subscribe to YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Periscope. We're everywhere. Tonight we are on WLFE DB Radio's Facebook page. We are on YouTube at Wheresmysage, Wheresmysage on Facebook, Christy's business page, Christy's public page, and who's the other one? Oh yeah, Tactical Bigfoot Research.
Oh yeah, that one. But the Bigfoot guy.
Hello, Michael. And so tonight. So just a quick, we are running a blah 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 blah. Subscriber giveaway. Here, I had to write it down in front of me here. So when we get 500 subscribers on YouTube and Instagram, some lucky listener viewer will have a chance to win a Bigfoot research kit. When we hit 750 on those two pieces of social media, we'll be giving away a paranormal research kit And when we hit 1,000, we'd be giving away a custom X8 tactical fixed blade knife. That's my Morgan that I designed. And yep, I designed those blades. And, that's where the tactical Bigfoot came from originally.
To very delicately and discreetly take the cap off my tea, and it's not working. Hey, if anything, I have never been used to being graceful ever. As my mom says, I'm a bull in a china shop, so I'm just going to pray that I don't spill this hot tea on myself. Okay, there we go. Oh, so yeah, someone's looking out for me.
Karen thinks Bigfoot's at the door. I can't hear myself talk tonight.
You never know. You never know.
You never know. So
the hunt is on.
Knife. And well, Carrie, we get you on here. Maybe we can work on something.
You may carry a knife.
Yep. So the other thing is, if you got to tune out halfway through the show or want to catch some of our older shows, they are on YouTube. They're also on Spotify, Spreaker, iTunes, Apple Podcast, Alexa, Google Music.
Amazon.
I mean, they're on
Amazon Music.
There's about 25, basically your favorite podcast location. You can find us on there. Please like and download those on iTunes. It kind of helps us out a little bit, gets us out there. So, yeah. So
we teach him. You show him, Gary.
So for those that tried to tune in the other night, I apologize. I was sick. That's why we didn't get to our investigation.
Right. We had to cancel the weekend. That's right. Or last Friday. Yeah. Thanks a lot for that. That was so much fun. I'm kidding. I know Pro Mike was really down.
Heather,
I think he was more afraid to call me than he was to cancel.
Oh, yeah.
You're not going to believe this.
So please like, share, subscribe, and especially at YouTube, because Thursday night. Yeah, Thursday.
What? Oh, we're going to tell him now?
Yeah, we'll tell him now. We'll tell him again later. So what are we doing Thursday?
You're like making big decisions here. What the hell's up with that?
Little decisions. I can't make a big decision.
All right, go ahead and tell him, because we're really excited.
No, go ahead.
No, I want to. You tell him.
So
don't screw it up.
The 21st is the year anniversary of our first show. So we will out and we will be doing an investigation. And where are we doing our investigation, Christy?
We will be in the beautiful Cortland, New York at the 1809 House Museum. 1809 House Museum. Yes. I went too slow and thought about it too much. It's been a long day. We're so excited. Can you guys believe we've been on the air for a year? I can't believe it.
So
I can't believe it. We just had a memory pop up with Joe Pieri at Paranormal Oddities over here in Depew. And we were talking about getting ready to do our first show. And it was just a couple days, after that show. And it floors me. A year has flown, and look how much has happened and how the world has changed in that long but short period of time,
Craziness we are. So
it's really nuts, but we're really excited. We're going to do a live investigation. And I believe Mike does have the banner ready to put up. He doesn't have to do it now, but we do have the details, and you'll be able to, investigate with us. And it's really exciting because it's just a historic place, and it's just a gorgeous old chock full of history. And
yep. So,
yeah.
So our guest tonight, as with COVID and everything else, it's messed us up this year, and our health and my health, Chris's health, our investigations. We've tried to get our guest on 2-3 times now. We've had to reschedule.
She's been so patient. Oh yeah. She's a good one, though. Everything happens for a reason. Now is the time. I think it's the best time, especially for what she does and who she is. All right, give her a good intro.
I'm going to actually read her bio, and I generally don't read them. So let's see how many times I can mess things up. Somebody said, "Power drunk are we?" No, I don't drink, especially during the week when I have to work. Or the rest of the time.
She was teasing you about taking the authority and making that decision.
Oh, power drunk. Not power drunk. Yeah.
Maybe you have been drinking. I don't know.
No, I took my little nap and
oh, that just went right over his head, Karen. That was so cute. Sorry, I'll stop picking on Mike.
grow my hair back out and see where we go from there. So
Maybe I need to get you an assistant for Thursday night.
okay.
Yeah. And without further ado,
Yes. So our guest this evening is Tara Skubella. She's the founder and guide of Earth Tantra. She is an earthing meditation expert, level 4 certified Tantra guide. Oh, I'm always butchering this one, and she's going to kill me. Kim's going to kill
she's
me.
laughing so hard right now too. It's awesome.
Kundalini Yoga Instructor, a death doula, which I really got to find out more about that one, and a wilderness survivalist. Tara, her truth is living in harmony with Mother Earth and a nearly off-the-grid little tiny house on the side of the mountain in Colorado with her partner, Darrin, and a sweet pup, Nugget. She is a being in nature, works in her garden, collects medicinal herbs, and roams the mountains of Colorado, and traveling and bringing life to her body and soul. And you might even have caught her on Naked and Afraid, as some of our other crazy guests have been on. And
she's one brave man. Anybody who's on that show is brave. Hi, Tara. Welcome to the show.
Hello. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. I'm already laughing so much. I don't know if I can talk.
We aim to please.
Yes.
How are you tonight?
I'm good. I'm really warm right now with this fire going on behind me. So
It's
hopefully
so
I'm not like breaking out a sweat.
That's me every day, and especially when we're doing the show. I got the window cracked. I got the heat going. It's all good. You fit right in.
it's the energy we're going to get going here tonight.
Right?
Might be peeling off clothes. Who knows?
Where's her ticker? Why don't you have a ticker for her?
I had that little thing at the beginning. I told you, we're just going to go with the flow. If the squirrel pops, we're going to go down that path and follow that nut.
Excellent. You guys are in for a wild ride tonight, I think.
Oh, please like, subscribe, and share. And there'll be some inside jokes. I've taken a couple of classes with Tara, and I'm taking one right now on cacao. And I was going to say chocolate, but I have to do my homework because I've been, working too much.
No.
So many things, so many questions.
I know Mike's like at the bed here, so I'm trying to let him. Tara, give us a little bit about your background from your past. How did you?
Yes.
Because I'm especially interested, at least right now, to start with the healing modems and the healing tendencies. So, is this something that you, knew early on? Is it something that you experienced as a young child? Does it go deeper? Even just the way I'm describing it to you, some people will look at me and go, I'm not gifted like you. I just do this and this. It's holistic. So even there, sometimes there's a different way of thinking. So how about we start there?
Question. Yes and no. So as a child, like a very young child, elementary school, I knew I was different from other people, but I didn't really know exactly what. I knew I had a really special relationship with Mother Earth as a young child, getting lost in the cornfields, never being afraid of nature, even just like sitting on her, getting my hands dirty with her. I knew that she had healing powers, but I couldn't put words to it. And it's something that I always kept to myself. But when I wanted to heal, I knew that was outside in nature. And I was really lucky. As a really young child, I would say between the ages of like 5, 6, and 7, I had this habit of collecting bones, dead things. And so I was living in Michigan at the time. Really, dead carcasses and bones, and I would dig them up or just find them. And I would bury them in like a little spot near the house. And I was just so curious, and there was like some sort of connection there, but I didn't know what. And then I got older, and then I, went to the cornfields, and then we moved to Illinois. So I was one of those children that grew up in the times where, stay outside, do not come home until the street lights are on. I don't care where you are, just stay out of trouble and be, come back alive.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I had those times to explore and connect and be with my friends or by myself. But I really cherish the times by myself. And I feel really lucky that I grew up in that time where, my mom trusted me, and she trusted where we lived, and we lived in a safe place at the edge of a farming community, Morton, Illinois, central Illinois, the heart of Illinois, Lincoln country.
Wow, very neat.
Yes, it was really special. And then as I got older, I felt those things fading away with societal norms and becoming a teenager. I was still drawn to the outdoors, but it turned more into individual sports like running cross country. I picked up biking, road biking, things like that, cycling. So then I guess when I was in college, my first major, my parents pretty much picked for me, which was business and marketing. And I hated it. Absolutely hated it. It was not my place in this world. So I changed to communications. So back when communications was a thing, and radio.
Yes. I actually did that,
and that
too.
lasted about a semester. You did too? Yep.
For about that long. Communication. Yep. Yeah, I even did a small internship here at KISS 98.5 in Buffalo. Wow, we're very much alike.
Awesome. Is communications even a major now? I don't even know. Is it?
I think so. But it probably has nothing to do with the kind of communication that we're talking about. Marketing, radio, television. Yeah, I'm sure there's a whole new way of talking about that now, for sure.
Yep. Yeah, way before internet, right? I'm talking so I graduated from high school in 91. So this was like early 90s communication, right? We even did like screen printing t-shirts kind of stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh yes.
It was like way back.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I found myself in that field like you for a minute. And then for whatever reason, I had a really high interest in the earth sciences. So on a whim, and I just went with my intuition, and I was living about 8 hours from my parents in college. I changed my major to becoming an earth science teacher. By this time I was like a junior, right? So I'm starting all over again, right? Business, starting all over with communications, now into the science field. Like, how different can you get?
Right. Oh, it's 220, 221. It's fine.
Yep. So, and I have ADHD too. So I change my mind a lot. That's really common.
Shut up, Mike.
I'll interject where I need.
Yep. So I changed to becoming an earth science teacher, and I did awful in earth science in high school. I got like a D. Like I almost failed. I almost had to take it over again. And it was just, I don't even know why. It was just one of those things where I was like, nope, this is going to be my major. This is what I'm going to do. And so I went with it, and I fell in love with the earth sciences. So I started to like develop like this science side of my brain, and, spreadsheets and data and chemical compositions and physics and mineralogy and petrology, like all of these different things. And so but like in my heart, like I always felt like there was still that connection from when I was a kid. And I was always so curious, like I could just like roam caves and the land and like, you know, search for fossils for, you know, 40 hours a week and just like touch Mother Earth and be with her. So I guess that's kind of my background as a youth and an early adult. But I had no spirituality as a young person. Well, I take that back. I grew up in the Greek Orthodox Church, so we had a lot of like ritual and ceremony growing up in that sense, which I was very disconnected from. So
Right. That's funny you say that though, because to me, that sounds more like you had religion, like all of us did, right? But you actually had complete and total spirituality, connecting with the earth and connecting with nature in a very natural, holistic way.
yes,
But it's something obviously you didn't know at the time, like most of us. And then looking back, but that's pretty awesome, you know?
Yeah.
Wow. Very
Yeah, I
interesting.
feel really lucky.
Wow. I can see the steam coming out of his ears. She's got something brewing. Go for it.
No,
Right.
I need another minute. I'm going to spin it around another way. So what made you go into some of the meditative arts?
Oh yeah. So let's see. So I guess I kind of ended with maybe my college years. So now we're going to fast forward to when I was 40, right? So we're like jumping like almost 20 years. Meditation, meditative arts. So kind of in between there, I have a background in wilderness survival. So I got this great teaching degree. I tried to teach in a public school, knew instantly it was not my thing because I would take the kids outside to go look at clouds, and the other teachers would hate me because I would take my kids outside. Yeah.
Thinking outside the box as a teacher, taboo, totally.
So back then, okay.
Practical knowledge?
I know. Let's go keep a rain gauge and I'll go outside and look at it. Yeah. Didn't fly at that time. Late 90s, early 2000s. So I guess that's around the time too when people started teaching to the tests, which I didn't learn that in college because it was not a thing in the mid 90s. And so I was like, yeah, that's not going to work for me. I don't teach to a test. So so I found myself desiring something that was not inside a brick and mortar structure. I needed to be outside, and that's why I found wilderness therapy. So wilderness therapy, and it's changed a little bit from back then. You have to have a degree now. Back then there was no wilderness therapy degree, so they were pulling people with counseling degrees, teaching degrees, anybody that had a background in working with youth. So I found myself in the outdoor wilderness therapy field, working with adjudicated and high-risk youth. My first program that I worked with was with Eckerd Youth Alternatives in Florida, and they're all up and down the East Coast. And then I found myself moving to Colorado and working for Alternative Youth Adventures, which is no longer around. But I saw like this transformation in the kids, and we didn't even offer any sort of like meditation, formal meditation. The kids had solo opportunities where they would be by themselves for 3 days, but I would like witness this transformation within the kids. So they would come in with like super extraordinary, like heady thoughts, high vibration, fear. And by the end of their 90 days or however long the program was, they were so much more grounded and centered, just living outside day after day after day. And it was something I was always really curious about, because you slow down and you live in the present moment, and you are touching and sleeping upon Mother Earth every night. You're living with her. So I guess that was my first introduction to informal meditation. I would even weave in like walking meditation because we hiked a lot. We sat in silence a lot, and then the solos, vision quests were offered too. And so, yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Vision quest. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah. So the vision quest that I'm talking about is a little different than what we think now. We call them solo. So just taking time to yourself. Taking time for reflection. Oftentimes there was like a curriculum and things that they had to reflect upon in their life, and they wanted to change their life. So there was usually
a purpose and a purpose and intention. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And then we'd come back together as a group, and just as in some Native traditions, we would share what we learned and what the message is that we had to share with our tribe or our family and community. So, yes.
Wow. Love that.
So I guess to get to your question, Mike,
It's said, we're going to let it flow.
We're just going to let it flow. So working in the wilderness therapy field, and it was extreme wilderness therapy and in the second program that I worked with. So when we were able to make fires without fire restrictions, we needed to learn how to make fires with bow drill and flint and steel. We did not have a structure to sleep in. Our water came from the creeks and the cow ponds and whatever else we came across. So I started to develop these wilderness survival techniques. And also in between jobs, I was an outdoor guide as well. So I found myself with these skills. And this was, like kind of before these times where they were just like hidden skills in my back pocket. When I got married and I became a mom, and there was this point in my life, which was like late 30s, more like early, like around the age of 40, where I was seeking something. I was really unhappy. I was in an unhealthy marriage, and I didn't know what I was seeking at all, but I knew that something had to change, right? It's like, what? I don't know. And I like unconsciously, was like pouring out to the universe. This was not formal, no intentions, no nothing like that. Just, I need change. What am I going to do? And I always grew up, there's a problem, you solve it, you fix it, right?
Yeah.
So what do I do? And I started a blog about having adult ADHD, and then this production company called Meadow Flowers Casting found me, and they thought I would be great for this television show that I had never heard of in my life because I don't really watch TV, although I did have a TV at that time. And they said, hey, we think you'd be good for this television show called Naked and Afraid. And I'm like, what's that? Check it out. Okay. So what do I do? And the first episode that I saw was EJ and Laura Zara, and they were in Panama, which is where I ended up. So kind of funny. And I was like, oh shit, I can do this. This is easy. I've done this for like years.
Sure.
I've been in bugs in Florida. I've been in the desert. I know how to find this stuff, so I got back to him, and I'm like, yeah, I'll apply. And I asked my husband at the time too. And for whatever reason, he was like, yeah, you should do this. And I can't say like I always had his support in the past, but I was like, okay, this is it. Then this is what I'm going to do. And it was for me. It was to test my skills, and maybe it was to like get my confidence back, or I'm always searching for some sort of challenge in life.
Sure. So
I was like, yeah, this is going to be it. Like I'm going to be badass. So I know, like seriously, I really was. I was thinking it was going to be like, holding up the snake, or whatever. Finding like my primal energy, my primal power, and I got out there, and it was complete opposite, completely different from what I thought.
Really.
the survival part was not that hard in my challenge, even with all the bug bites and everything. I don't know if I still hold the record for the most bug bites, but I did for a while.
Wow, you did?
Yep.
Congratulations.
There's
know.
my tap out right there.
Yeah. No, I'm good. Oh, yikes.
But being out there was so different. So in my past, being outside, I was always like doing something, right? I'm guiding, I'm like searching for something. I have a plan in mind, and not that I didn't have a plan in this situation, but I was very like task focused on guiding other people. And I had like hiked the Colorado Trail, and I have taken like solo vision quests on myself, but they were for, shorter amount of times, or like when I hiked the Colorado Trail, like there was a destination in the end. And I was so focused every day, and I was constantly moving. But depending on your situation and your location on Naked and Afraid, sometimes you have like, 200 by 200 feet. That's your spot, and you cannot leave. And that was my situation. It was so small because we had killer bees in the area, and they had attacked the crew before we got there. Anyway, that's another story. But but while I was out there,
No thanks,
laying on Mother Earth naked every single night, and like to this day, like there was one night where I was laying on her, I'll call her breast. I was super famished at this point, and we had our fire going at night, and like I could hear her pulse, her heartbeat, and it was just so beautiful. Like it wasn't something that was in my mind or like, oh yeah, I heard it. No, like I became one with her in that moment. And I knew then that that my relationship with her before did not matter, because I was doing upon her. But this was the first time in my life, like even after like 600 nights underneath the stars before Naked and Afraid, this was the first time that I could feel and become one with her and just be with her. And so she completely reset me, mind, body, and spirit. And when I came home from the challenge about, I don't know, like 2 weeks later, I had some physical healing that I needed to do. I was presented with a spiritual awakening, and I had no idea what was going on. I thought I was crazy. It's like massive download of information. And so it took me like a little while to sort that out. And then, Mike, finally, to answer your question, I went to my first Tantra workshop about 3 months after that. And that's when I knew I was going to guide other people in tantric practices, including meditation. So
That's cool.
It's a long way to answer your question.
Well, no, because that's going to kind of, I didn't know where we were going to kind of stick the Naked and Afraid thing in there. But do you think your mental health and fortitude was tested when you were out there in the jungles? And who was your partner? I don't remember who your partner was. I hang out with so many of you guys, I can't remember who was with who and who's been on what XL and who's done what solo, and
or Mike.
My partner was Justin Hobbs.
Okay.
Yeah, he's awesome. He is such a great guy. He really is. He got the bad rap in the editing, but yeah, he's a really great, amazing person.
Aww.
Yeah.
And you still keep in touch now?
Off and on, yeah. I think he recently became a dad to another. So they had he and his wife.
How nice.
Yeah.
Aww. Congratulations to them. Yeah.
Yes.
With that time, so you've progressed. Now how did you fall into the Tantra realm? And it's one of those things that the universe bring it to you, like you're in there searching through whatever it 3 o'clock in the morning and like Google throws it up in the middle of your, you know, like, hey, there's a class here. And I'm like, I wasn't thinking about this, but maybe I need to go down that road, you know? So.
Yeah. Well, during my spiritual awakening, let me take this back to Naked and Afraid, and I contribute a lot to that experience on my spiritual path. Like without Naked and Afraid, I would not be where I am today on my spiritual path. There's no way in hell. No, not at all. I became friends with somebody on the crew, and they are still a very, very dear and close friend to me today. And that person was meant to cross my path because they were the person that introduced me to Tantra. Yeah, even just, okay, I have to tell you this story, just completely wild. I'm on the plane to Panama, right? So Panama, on the plane lands in Panama City. I feel like this weird energy from behind, and I was toward the back of the plane, and I like turn around and there's this person just like smiling at me, you know, this like beautiful person, and they have like a glow around them, and it's like everything faded away, but they were like, you know, just their face. And it was so crazy. And I was like, what the hell? Like, what is this? Okay. You know, and like the smile just like captured me and like was mesmerized. And I was, I could have been like sucked in. And and I was married at the time, and I was a complete monogamous, faithful person, to the point where like I wouldn't even smile almost at another man because I felt like shame. That's just how I was. And so I was like, oh, well, I can't smile at this person, right? Because then they might think I like them or something. So I like turn around, get off the plane, go to the bathroom, and then I see the sign that says Renegade or whatever production crew, I can't remember. And so I see the sign, I look down, and there's that person, and I was like, I was literally shaking. I was like, oh my gosh, like this person is with this production company, and I didn't know if they were like who they were or anything. But this person had a really big impact on my experience out there, even though they were very professional and everything. I just felt like this person like had my back. And at the end of production, I did a no, and I knocked on their door, right? This is after everything, and we're like getting ready to leave and fly off the island, in the Pearl Islands, Isla San Jose. Anyway, knock on their door. I'm like, I need to talk to you about something. And this is totally unlike me to even do anything like this at that time. Now I react and I follow what feels good. But I was just going with the flow. So I knock on their door, and they're like, okay. And I'm like, I need to ask you something. Can I have a business card? And they were like, okay, sure, here, you know, and they like gave it to me. And then we went our separate ways. And then I started having crazy dreams about this person. And I had not seen them or been in contact with them. And so, and they were actually on production in Africa at this time, but I started to email this person, and this is a dream that I had about you. And I don't know what this means, but I feel like I need to tell you. And the dreams that I was having was very aligned with what they were experiencing at that time in their life. And my friend describes me like this little gnat. Like, he didn't want to have anything to do with me. But I like kept coming back, right? Like, I just kept coming back, and I was so
clearly you knew best. I mean, that's what it is, right?
Yeah. It's like crazy girl with like these crazy dreams, and but they were real and they were actual dreams. That was
Well,
What did she eat in the woods?
I know.
It takes a lot of guts, though, to email
Yep.
someone and just be like, "Hey, I had a dream about you." Some
Oh,
people would be
yeah.
like, "Okay, stay away." Some people would be like, "Well, hey."
911.
Seriously, but that took a lot of guts.
Yes.
Yeah, I just went with it, and so I like, and then like the spiritual awakening was unfolding, and I had no idea what was happening, and I confided in another dear friend of mine, a close gal friend, and she's a yoga teacher, and she's like, "It sounds like you're having a spiritual awakening." I didn't even know what that was. I had never heard about that. So again, I'm like, "What's that?" She's like, "Well, why don't you Google it? Go to the Google." So I go to the Google, and then you start reading, and you're like, "Oh, shoot, yeah, like this is."
That's all you said, really?
Yep.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I know. Just craziness. So my friend that was on the production of NNA, I started to confide in them, and I'm like, this is what's happening in my life. I'm going to be leaving my husband, and he's more like a brother to me. He's on that kind of close level. And he said, well, you might want to try Tantra. And I knew that Tantra was not going to save my marriage, but I was really interested in it helping me.
Right.
And so that's how I was interested to Tantra. Yeah. From my messenger presented to me from the universe. Yeah.
That's very interesting. So why were you interested in Tantra for yourself? What did you think, or what were you hoping it would do for you?
Well, like most people, especially 6 years ago, I think Tantra is changing for people, and they understand that it's just not sacred sexuality. But especially back then, when you Googled Tantra, what came up, it was sex. It still does, but there's more like meditation and breath work and energy movement.
Right.
Yeah. Like even like pornography comes up, and you're like watching the videos, you're like, oh my God, is Tantra like all orgies? Like what is this? What is this?
People knew how to party.
Yeah, I know.
Oh crap, my mom's watching this show, isn't she?
Your kids are probably watching too.
About 30 seconds.
Okay. Hey, you said I could say anything with the flow.
I said, just go. We've got these little, the banners, we need her. I tried to warn some people. Live life to its fullest.
That's right.
Hey, I'm being real here.
I'm looking at your quote here. Bare my skin and touch the soil every night. Yep. Yeah. Just get out the energy and go. And if there's anything I've learned about the cast in the family of Naked and Afraid, is that it's going to come out, and there's going to be a good reason for everything that's going to come out of it.
Oh wow.
You guys are like amazing, and I know quite a few of our friends, common friends that we have, friends in common we have, are out here listening, and it's just, I got put into the team of folks, with knife shows and gun shows and everything else, and I don't know.
You guys acquired a mic. How did Naked and Afraid
acquired the mic?
A mic.
Yeah, but the deep thought conversations that come out of the group after you guys have had your experience in the woods. Even our Christy and I have a friend, Ray, who spent some time, 22 days of, he always jokes that when he meets somebody from the show, he got lost in the Ecuadorian jungle and got, 22 days out by himself there. And, coming to life, or, turn to the universe,
Yeah.
Man.
Listen, where are Jen and Ray? They haven't come up on all tonight.
Right.
So Tantra is just not that oh my God, Cinemax, late night, I need to watch this. These are the true ancient, but it is, but it's ancient meditations.
Right.
It's energy healing, the chakras, and I'll let you, if you can explain it a little bit more to our audience that hasn't experienced or done the research.
Right.
Like I said, I've done a couple of classes with you, so my knowledge is a little different than some other folks, in following your path, quiet down back here.
Yes. What is Tantra? Oh my gosh. So we'll just start with the word itself, Tantra. And it's also pronounced Tantra. That's more an American pronunciation. So however you want to pronounce it, there's no right or wrong way. But one explanation that I think most Americans who are familiar with the word pronouncing it Tantra, if you take the word tan or tan, it means weaving, like if you're like tanning a hide, right? So you're weaving in all these like hundreds and thousands of fibers to make something, to expand something. And that's what the word tra means, expansion. So weaving for expansion of. And there are hundreds of practices, modalities within Tantra. And one of the reasons why I love Tantra is that we get to pick and choose which practices resonate with us as an individual, which practices resonate with us maybe through our friends, our community, with a lover, with our son, our daughter. There's so many different ways to practice Tantra as a whole. And that doesn't mean like, okay, I love like these 10 practices are woven into my life. Well, as we grow and shift, those practices may grow and shift and expand. So Tantra is a lifelong pathway. It's not like, okay, I've learned it, I'm done, I'm bored with it. Because somebody with ADHD like me, like I'm always changing. I need that in my life. I'm going to be over here. Okay, now I'm over here.
No, I can't do something for too long. My furniture has to get rearranged. I have to, shut up, Mike. You just fit. We've traveled enough together already that he thinks he knows better. Oh, goodness.
Yep. And that sacred sexuality piece is just a slice of the pie. And I also like to present that that when we start exchanging energy with somebody else, that's a more advanced type of training. But first, knowing how we move energy within our body. Even when I work with couples and like couples and retreats, we first at least have an introduction to how to move energy within the body. Like one of the courses that you've taken, Mike. Important. So yeah, good question.
Very interesting. And I find it.
Go ahead, Christy. Yep. Well, I unmuted.
He's like, no, I was just, I like the point you make about intimacy, because when that comes up in a reading, and I'm talking about intimacy, or somebody just decided to take off. People all of a sudden go, no, there was no, they get very funny and very uncomfortable when that comes up, when spirit comes forward or we're talking about something in their life. And I have to remind them, not necessarily talking about sex. There's, as soon as you say the word intimacy to people, it's almost like we become defensive, like we did something wrong. Right. And it's not that way. It doesn't have to be that way. Yeah. You can be intimate with, like you said, your children, your friends, your parents, on that more spiritual, deeper level of self. And that's, something that really needs to be taught and learned, because it's lost. But that's who we are as human beings, and the sex, yes, is a part of it, but it's not all of it. But then again, coming full circle, that's why everything else is so wonderful. Usually.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
So I really can relate to that. I like that, because there's so many different levels of intimacy that are so much more important, you
There
know?
are. And it could be
Yeah.
like you said, like a nurturing intimacy, you know, even just like breastfeeding or like holding your child, you know,
Yeah.
against your chest. Intimacy with Mother Earth, building a relationship with her in a different way, like feeling her and connecting with her. I think that what you just brought up is probably one of the most popular things that I hear as far as feedback goes, for one of the retreats that I offer called Earth Tantra Retreat Level 1. Because sometimes there's like all genders there and people are gonna have to like share space and learn how to connect with each other. But by the end, they learn that word intimacy can mean intimacy with themselves, being gentle and loving toward themselves, with Mother Earth, with friends and community. So
Love
yes,
Love
yes,
it.
yes.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, Michael, it's your turn.
I was just going to say, you teach those classes pretty much, you know, all over the east, the Western Hemisphere, correct? Between U.S. and South America, and different cool locations to go and learn from you on different programs, outside of COVID. You know,
Yes.
so where have you connected the most in the world with the energy of the earth or the universe?
Mm-hmm. Well, I've traveled a lot outside of offering retreats and spiritual events. I would say one of my homes, and I also feel like there's an ancestral connection here, because my grandmother's parents were from the island of Crete. It is a Greek island, the southernmost Greek island. It's very large, in the Aegean Sea. But just north of there is the island of Santorini, of ancient Fira. That place calls me constantly. She's reminding me that she's there. I've only been there 3 times, but the last time that I was there, I was actually volunteering my services, with the work exchange, on Santorini. And oh gosh, that space is so beautiful and so amazing. I like more of the countryside of Santorini, not necessarily the town that has like all like the whitewashed walls and the blue domes, that you see in a lot of pictures. I'm more drawn to the opposite side of the island, where it's much more sloping, not really the cliff sides, and the beaches are gentle. But but Santorini is an active volcano. So you have like this like fire right underneath this deep, deep blue ocean, and so much history there. There's a lot of ancestral, I don't know, like spirits. There's ruins there, you know, that are thousands of years old. Some people, some scientists also say that could be like the site of Troy. I don't know. There's just something there, and I feel like at some point in my ancestral lineage that somebody was there. I don't know if it was a stop or somebody lived there, but just the energy, the air, the fire, the earth, and the water. It's just this beautiful combination. Actually, the next retreat that I'm offering is in like 3 weeks in Costa Rica. I have a love-hate relationship with Costa Rica right now. I love it, but there's been some crazy energy, with some of the events that I've offered there. But I know it's not that bad because some people are coming back a second time.
Oh, good.
So
That's always a good sign.
Yeah. Yep. But I feel like Costa Rica like has even though there's like volcanoes there too, and you have the ocean and everything, it's more of like an intense energy. It's beautiful and everything too. But that like raw jungle fire, I feel like has a different feel to it. It's very exciting, I guess I'll say. Yep. So the next retreat that I'm offering there is actually a women's healing retreat, and we are connecting with our ancestral lineage and tapping into our primal energy. So it's very fitting. I'm hoping this time it'll instead of trying to fit the energy into maybe a place that it shouldn't be, now I'm just surrendering, and we're just going to dive deep into the primal emotional mess.
That's awesome.
So yeah,
sounds like a party to me, to be honest with you. But hey, retreat, party, same difference. No,
it's an intensive. It'll be an intensive experience. Yep.
Wow. That's amazing.
I think we're at a quick natural break here in questions. So I'm going to we're already an hour in.
Oh my gosh.
Right along. So we're going to do a quick commercial. So if you need to get up and get yourself a beverage or, take a stretch, this is the time to do it. And I am going to throw a little quick a little commercial in here from WLFE DB Radio. After the break, if you have questions for Tara, please throw them into the chat. And commercial away.
WLFE-DB.com, where you can find vodcast shows, podcasts, and more like Where's My Sage, Inside the Drag Closet, Across the Pond, Paratalk Radio, Just Cindy, and more. So go check out WLFE-DB.com, where talk radio is a whole lot better. Our shows are your shows, and that there makes for a great talk radio.
Hey guys and dolls, this is Casey DeVille, the better half of DeVille Inc., Baltimore, Maryland. If you're ever in Baltimore, stop in and see me and Tony. Invisible Brie, 5920 Eastern Avenue, Baltimore, Maryland, 21224. Give us a call if you're in the area, 410-400-9641, or look us up on the web at DeVilleInc.com. DeVille Inc., where we specialize in you.
Ted Van Son Jr. is a seasoned investigator and well-versed in the ways of paranormal investigation. He is now ready to share his ideas and unique approach with all of you. Flashlight, recorder, and comfortable shoes. Hit the ground running as you follow this easy step-by-step guide to a fun and thorough paranormal investigation, perfect for first-time and lightly seasoned investigators. Think outside the paranormal box. Learn all about the technology and techniques used back in the early days of paranormal investigation. You can find these valuable resources online at Goodreads, Barnes & Noble, Walmart, and Amazon. Get yours today.
Hi, I'm Jenna Grover. In the world of fashion, we get lost in the cost. Everyone wants that special piece of quality jewelry, but they can't afford it. Not on my watch. I sell handmade quality jewelry for a fraction of the price, and that includes jewelry made of sea glass, natural stone, crystal beads, glass beads, Bigfoot jewelry, and more. If you don't see what you want, email me, because I make custom jewelry too. Check out my website at gbythesea.com. Also, you can email me at jewelry@gbythesea.com.
You're listening to WLFE DB Radio. Now, back to our program.
Hi, there's my first one for the evening. All right.
Sorry, you're getting better.
Yeah. I gotta mute everybody. There was a quick comment in here from I'm gonna butcher that one from Gal.
Dragon. Come on.
Yeah, it's a dragon. I should be able to get that one, Thank you for sharing about your path to your current spiritual expression, Tara. I hadn't heard all those details before, Anna. So
that's my sister.
Oh,
how nice.
Well, it's always good when they find everything.
Right?
Yeah, that's my sister. One of my sisters.
Hi, sister.
I'm the oldest of 4.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That must have been fun growing up. 4 sisters or 4 girls all together? Or you have a brother?
I'm the oldest of 4/5. One of my brothers passed away a few years ago, but I'm the oldest. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's great. Very nice. It's
So,
always nice when our family pops in. You know, like when my kids come in and like to make smart jokes or comments in the middle of the chat room, it throws Mike right off. It's great.
my brother does.
Yeah.
He's been in and out tonight. So Tara's website is Naked Earth Tantra, and I'm going to drop that link right into the chat now. If you go ahead and looking through your website, you've got a lot of stuff going on there. But which is interesting is your logo. And for those, I can actually share that screen if I can hit the right buttons today. There we go.
He gets so excited about doing stuff like this. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
So
such a
your
boy this way.
yeah. Your logo is the green spiral. And can you explain the green spiral? I'm going to stop that one there. And why it's important to you and
Yes. First, I want to say that even though the website is still Naked Earth Tantra, it's just Earth Tantra now. I dropped Naked like over a year ago.
okay.
So, yep. I just like to throw that in there because sometimes people are like, "Oh my gosh, Naked!" You know, all your events are naked. No, that's not the case.
Okay.
Natural,
yeah.
holistic, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's Earth Tantra. But I actually have this on my arm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So the green spiral, I mean, there's many different reasons why how she was presented to me and why she's the logo or the message of Earth Tantra. First off, because she's green. And green also represents earth, and it also represents the heart chakra. So a very earth and heart-centered space. If you go in the tradition of the 7 or the 4 directions is really important to me. So if you count the spiral lines, there's 4 in each direction. So going up, 1, 2, 3, 4, going down, 4. And then just the spiral itself, our journey of coming inward, coming to self, dropping within, learning about ourselves, and then going back out, and whether that's sharing it with the world or weaving it into our life, and then coming back in, right? So our path is not linear. We're always coming back and learning lessons. And sometimes those lessons are really hard when we think that we've learned them, but then the universe keeps knocking. Hey, I'm going to present this with you again because you're not quite done learning this lesson. So those are some of the reasons.
That's really neat. Oh, yes. I have a lot of clients who find that out and they'll say, "Oh, no, I don't have an issue with this." And I'm like, "Well, your spirit guides are saying we need to talk about this, but I've come so far." And I said, the best thing I can tell you is, they're acknowledging that you've made progress and that you've done some work. And yes, you're doing well. And it doesn't mean you're failing at something or that it's bad. It's just that we think we've started at A and gone to letter, T. And they're like, we're going to drag you back down to H. That's good, but we're going to do the rest of this again a different way, and or whatever the case is. And they're like, oh, okay. All right. I get it. It's hard to hear, though. It's hard to hear, but it's so important, you know? Yeah. Wow. That's really neat. And I love the green, too. For sure. That's a really healthy color. It's just very spiritual, very deep, very intimate. Powerful spirit color, green and purple. So very ascended colors, which is fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah, very good.
I also want to say too that that the spiral has many different inconsistencies, so it's not perfectly outlined. It's hard to see online with a white background, but it almost looks like a
Yep.
A fifth grader drew it because there's little dips and
oh, I see. Yes,
it's very inconsistent. Okay. Yeah, the lines aren't. I can't get it in. The lines are not perfect because life is not perfect.
Yeah, it's right.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really neat.
Awesome. All right. So get everything turned back around here. We got again, folks, if you got questions for Tara, please put them into the comment section. And actually, we've got one here.
Good.
So right now, from Jonna, I'm taking your Sacred Cacao workshop this month. Is this a sacred practice included in your workshops, or is the cacao ceremony separate? P.S. I'm loving the workshop.
Aw. Probably because she does her homework.
She does her homework, yeah.
Just saying. Sorry.
Thank you.
I thought I was going to work early the other night. Did I mute myself? Yeah, that was the question. Let me all right. So
I thought it was for you.
Well, not for me. Just you know.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
So is the practice included in your other workshops, or is the cacao separate? And I guess I was, that kind of directs me towards the rest of some of the other programs that you have going.
Yes.
So
Yes.
Put these things on. I can't hear myself talk.
No comment.
So one of the rituals in this ceremony that I think is important, and it just speaks to me and my relationship with cacao is to offer that to other people. I weave it into retreats. In the past, I've guided and led just cacao ceremonies. So cacao workshop and ceremony that I am offering right now is the first time that it's been online and has been this comprehensive. So in this format, it's brand new. Yeah.
And you do retreats and virtual classes and events. So you're out there doing a lot of things coming up. I did your Lower Chakras and last March, which was awesome. And I see you're doing that again this March.
Yep. Yeah.
So what
Tell
is
us
your
about that though?
Yeah.
Why just the lower chakras?
Yes. Well, we often forget about these chakras, right? We want to be up here and enlightened, and but a lot of like shame, shadows, and our past is held within here, root to heart. And when we're up here in our upper chakras, we forget to ground ourselves. We forget the importance of the lower four and coming back to our body. I took a couple of workshops with Mantak Chia about 2 years ago, and I love how he describes it. By the way, Mantak Chia is a Taoist master. He's based out of Thailand. If you just Google Mantak Chia, he'll come up. And he just described up here, you're just up here floating around. That's bad. You gotta know how to reground yourself and center yourself
Right.
after you're playing with the upper chakras. So how I learned along my pathway was first learn to connect with the lower four, how to move this energy. That was not my experience though, because my introduction to chakras was during my spiritual awakening, when everything, Kundalini awakening, everything was open and it was, yeah. So I was really lucky that my first teacher is like, okay, that she presented it in a way. Get to know, build a relationship with your body, with your grounding chakras, and then learn how to move that energy. So when you start to explore, or you are up here with your upper chakras, you know how to come back down from that, and you know how to process and ground that energy and be able to use it and share it in ways that are shareable, versus being up here out in the universe and not knowing what to do and not trusting your intuition. So yeah, really important.
That's so important. It's a key. Yeah. Oh, I love that. Okay. That's a good answer.
So, what type of retreats do you offer? For those that aren't familiar with your work.
Yes. I offer retreats for women, for individuals, for couples. They are all earth-based, though. Even for couples, I try and find a location that incorporates the elements, that feels very safe and grounding. I think that's important. My most popular retreats would be the Earth Tantra retreat series, Earth Tantra retreat level 1. Not all the time, but in the summer specifically, it's offered camping only, at the Earth Tantra Outdoor Retreat Center, which is where I live. It's a very, I can't say that small, it's a few acres, and it's a very like rustic environment here on the side of the mountain where I live. Right now, I live nearly off grid. We are building a house right next door to our tiny house now. I'll be able to stand up in my bedroom and poop in a toilet because I don't have a toilet. I don't have any running water.
Wow. Oh my goodness, you aren't kidding. You really are
For 4
so
years
natural. Wow.
So a lot of people are if you like camping, or you're open to it, a lot of people are drawn to coming here to the outdoor retreat center, living on the side of the mountain. Amazing, stunning views. It's incredible. The land here is so healing. I would say that I can even still feel the energy of the Utes that occupied this area before white people came along. Anyway, that's another topic for another time. But it's in, yeah. So I always try and pick locations where you are out in nature. At least you have the capability of doing that. So Earth Tantra Retreat level 1 is the most popular. A lot of people come back for level 2. And I just offered level 3 for the first time this past summer. People who've completed 2 are ready for level 3. And then as far as couples go, that's shifting. So I offered online sessions and connections since the birth of Earth Tantra, so before COVID. So I have all this experience. It was very easy for me. Everything was already in place when COVID hit, which I felt very lucky and much gratitude for that. But the Art of Loving, which is a couples retreat, is probably the most popular couples retreat, but I'm starting to see a shift now of serving couples in private retreats through Zoom. So I guide them from a Friday night through perhaps a Sunday morning or Saturday night. And it could be the exact same offering as the Art of Loving, an introduction to Tantra for couples. So just now working virtually. And that's really exciting. Yeah.
It is. Yeah. And we're very lucky and blessed for those of us who can do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yeah. A lot of people don't realize that we've been working virtually, excuse me, for a long time.
Yeah.
It was always an option, at least. And now, we have to do that, and it's starting to miss the in-person experiences a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I always missed it, but I guess I'm feeling it now, because I do, but I can work anywhere, much like you with what you do. You can set up and pretty much do most, right? If not all, virtually. And it's such a nice option. But yeah, I really do miss seeing my clients and interacting with people, on that level.
Yes. And how long have you been offering online? How many years?
Phone call, virtual, really since I started. So 7 years.
7 years. Yep. Yeah.
7 years I've been, doing this full time. So yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Awesome. It's a good place.
It's coming.
I know.
The thoughts are coming,
Wait, you gonna hurt yourself or
no? I'm just
careful.
What is your where do you think your path is going to lead you next in the healing arts?
That's a great question, Mike. That's a great question. I'm one of those people, like, I'll plan for the year, which I'm in the process of doing right now on my work plan, and setting my intentions for the year. But as we all know now, like, things can shift and change, just like that. But I feel like I'm at this point. So I always get this craving of, like, I'm a lifelong learner, and I feel like I have a really good, like, solid foundation, in offering practices and earth-based tantra to people, for a certain level, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And so I'm feeling this urge and this desire to learn more, and putting words and experiences and deeper practice, surrounding spiritual awakenings. So that's kind of my personal journey right now. I'm not sure if I will be offering that. I don't know. I got a death doula certification and training a little over a year ago now. Originally, it was intentionally just for me and for my family. A few people have reached out to me. I don't really market it. And then when COVID hit, we thought we would be supporting, but yeah.
You're going to ask my question.
What exactly is that? Can you elaborate and explain it? Because I've never heard of that. That was one of the things we were definitely curious about.
Yeah. So it's like an end of life doula, death doula. So basically, most of us have heard of a birth doula, right? So bringing life into this world. So the person who's that emotional, spiritual, connecting guide that kind of like weaves in. You're not a medical person, but you're there to support on different levels of bringing life into the world and guidance. So a death doula is just as we are leaving the world. And sometimes people who know that it's their time may reach out to a death doula, or perhaps somebody has passed and the family members need that extra support and processing and understanding. So basically the guidance of a death doula is to be that emotional, spiritual person who kind of helps the family or the individual navigate between like the medical field and like the like death services. Sometimes leading a ceremony. Although COVID, it's hard to do this right now, but maybe going to the funeral home, being an advocate for the family. So yeah, there's a lot of different ways you can offer services. Being
She froze.
doula.
Sorry, there's a lot. What? You froze. You were like, ah, and it just froze.
There's a lot of different services in helping a family and the individual navigate the death process, that rite of passage. Some people only offer to those that are passing. Some people extend that to the family and supporting them, preparing for death, after death services. So, yes.
Wow.
Huh.
So it's not quite like a hospice counselor, but you're more like a midwife kind of thing. You're kind of getting them.
A death midwife is another name versus doula.
Okay.
Yeah.
And because liaison's what keeps coming to my head. So what's the difference between a death doula and a hospice person, or what's the difference? I guess. Yeah, I don't know how. Yeah. What's
Yeah. So again, a death doula is there for spiritual support, emotional support. Not that a hospice can't offer that, but typically hospice is also more connected to the medical field, where a death doula or death midwife is not. We're kind of like this neutral person, and also after death and supporting the family. So not only the person that's preparing, but also extended family members.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I like it.
Do you find something like that draws your energy, or are you pulling from the universe and able to give that energy through yourself to the family or the individual?
Mm-hmm. I can't really answer that question right now because I have not worked with a lot of families to feel, and it's all been virtual right now. So yeah, ask me again in maybe another 2 years.
Gotcha.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah. I got my certification about like 4 months before COVID hit, and I was doing a lot of traveling then. And then all of a sudden COVID hit, and and because I'm still new, I don't have a base or anything, just a few referrals. And then my own personal loss too during that time. So
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
So during all of this formation and growth and your life's path, have you found that you have become more in tune with any of your own gifts as an intuitive, as maybe a medium, if you're a medium, anything like that?
That's an interesting question. My dear friend, who was the only friend that knew I was going to be on Naked and Afraid, and she was the yoga teacher that told me, I think you're having a spiritual awakening. She she studies astrology, and she did a reading on me. I don't know, maybe it was last spring. I can't even remember. And I guess that my chart says that I have very strong intuition, and but I feel like that has not developed yet in my life. I don't even know if it's going to be in this lifetime. I feel like intuition for me comes very, very clear. But as far as guiding other people, I don't know. Even though this chart says yes, maybe when I'm in my 70s or something, it's all going to come together, which maybe ties into your question, Mike, of like, where are you going to take this? I don't know. We'll
Whenever it's time, right?
Yeah.
As much as you've said, you follow your gut. You've always done what comes natural. That's following your intuition, whether it's spirit guiding you, your spirit guides, God, or your higher power, whoever it is. That's huge. And you're already connected in that way. So that's a big deal, and it's really all you've ever known, from as far back as you can remember, at least from what you're telling us. And the funny thing is, to have a spiritual awakening, people like us who can remember way far back, I always felt like the oddball because people would talk about these downloads. I'm like, what the hell's a download? What the frick are you talking about? A download? What? Everything's just always been all I've ever known, the way I am. So I've never, that I can think of, had any kind of a download or received anything in a way that I could relate to other people and what they were saying, or how they experienced it. So on that level, I was just taught what it was about, heard other people, knew they went through it and knew how to help them, or could relate to small things, but I was already there, minus the major shift. So that can be tricky sometimes, can it? When you're living that life and you're seeing everyone else around you. But we do really, if you think about it, we go through different levels or chapters of spiritual awakening, because like you said earlier about some of the other things you do, this is forever a learning process. If I always tell people that I work with, if anyone's ever telling you it has to be this way or their way or one way or the other, then run in the other direction, because this is you're never going to stop learning and growing, because then your ego is getting in the way. There's no possible ways you could learn anything or everything ever and be okay and think you've accomplished what you're supposed to, because that means you're no longer needed here and you're going to move on. That's the goal for all of us. So, so you're definitely intuitive. You're definitely an intuitive. What about other things or anything else? Have you ever received messages for people when you didn't expect it, or connected in a way that you were not, maybe a little bit deeper?
Hmm. Definitely my production friend with the dreams that I had. Let's see, with other people, I feel like it's really rare. Like my partner now, I'll call him my nesting partner, who, by the way, was
I
on
love
Naked
that.
and Afraid as well.
Oh, that's so neat.
Yeah.
Aw. Before or after you?
I was actually, oh my gosh, there's a crazy story between us.
Go.
We love
have
crazy
time?
stories.
Yep.
Yeah, we do.
Okay. I mean, I've shared this a few times, but it's not super well known. So Darrin, who's known as like what was he known as, like the Rat King or something like that? He was the guy that ate all the rats in Thailand.
Ooh.
He was a fan favorite like early on in Naked and Afraid. Yeah, and then he was on an XL too. So he's the guy with the really big spiral, if you're like a Naked and Afraid fan, on his chest. Spiral, right? Spiral. We have some connections here.
Very cool. That's right.
We have a very interesting relationship and connection. I've danced with his shadows before, like literally when I have not been with him, his shadows have presented themselves to me.
How did you know they were his shadows? What's up? Tell me about that.
Oh, I just knew 100%. It was actually in a cacao ceremony, Mike.
What's in there? I was going to ask, what are you putting in the cacao?
Remember, cacao is non-hallucinating. It's all, it just opens up the heart and the space between the body.
Okay. You start doing anything weird or funky on our trip and you're going home.
She is a heart opener. Yeah, I don't know. It was like 4 years ago. I think it was. Wow. It was amazing. It's about 4 years ago. We had been dating a little over a year, I think, or maybe just under a year. I don't know. And I was in a cacao ceremony. I was guiding an Earth Tantra retreat level 1 in the desert of Utah, and his shadows just came out, and we were all like doing our own little thing. And I kind of stepped away from the group, and I was dancing and in shadows, and like literally from behind a tree, his shadow.
Hold on a second.
They were his shadows.
You froze again.
You froze on us there.
So you said his shadow came out. You're frozen, but we can hear you. This is a little weird. You have a nice smile on your face, though. Oh, you're kind of coming back.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, there we are.
There we go.
Okay.
So you said you were dancing and his shadow came out from behind this tree.
Yeah, his shadows, they were friendly shadows, but they were his deep, I don't want to say demons, but his shadows. They wanted to play with me, and they wanted to interact and just be with me. And so when I got home, I told him what had happened, and he was like, yep, that's what happened. He wasn't sending them to me, but he knew what I meant when I shared that experience with him.
Wow, I've never heard of that before. That's pretty cool. That's really amazing.
Is he into the healing arts and such?
Yes and no. He's part Native American, so he has his own practices. He was actually mentored. He was born on the Shoshone Reservation up in Wyoming. And he had a few mentors on the reservation. His adopted parents are amazing, and they provided this for him, because it takes a tribe, right? It takes a community to raise children. And so he has his spiritual practices aligned with Native American practices and what he learned as a child with the Shoshone. So yeah.
Cool.
You want to find out how we met?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Such a cool story. So when I had 2 offerings to be married. The first offering was when I came back. My plane landed in Denver, and I just was returning from LA from their interview. You know, when I don't know if I doubt they do this now, but they used to bring like groups of people to a hotel, and they would interview you and set up in the hotel individually. You couldn't see anybody, and it was like top secret, right? And then they send you back home. Well, when I landed in Denver, I got a message that said, hey, you know, we want you to film over Thanksgiving break, which was like not even 2 weeks away. It was like 10 days away. They wanted me to start my challenge. And I couldn't, because I had an agreement with I was employed at that time. I mean, my agreement with the employer was I needed at least a 10 business day notice. So it didn't fall into there, because it was like, you know, 6-day business notice or something. So I had to say no, but I felt like I had to be there. Like I was like crying, and I'm like calling my mom on the drive home. You know, I feel like I have to be in Thailand though. Like I have to be there. And that was Darrin's challenge. So I was supposed to be his partner, but it wasn't time for us to meet yet. I was still married at the time. And then after my challenge, like right away, they're like, okay, get ready for Excel. You know, you're going to go on Excel, and have you seen Excel? I'm like, no, because I hadn't. And they're like, okay, well, check out season 1. And I was like, okay, fine. And then they ended up switching me with somebody else, and it worked out perfect. But Darrin was on that Excel, so we were supposed to meet a second time. But during that filming, I ended up in Thailand while they were filming XL2, getting my Tantra teacher certification. So we were not meant to meet yet. I was meant to be on this path of learning more about Tantra and becoming a Tantra guide. And then, you know, like back then our circle was much smaller, and there was only like a few people from Colorado, and we would all message each other. And we were messaging at one point, and I said, hey, Darrin, did you know I was supposed to be your partner? And his was one of the few episodes that I saw, because when I knew his was going to air, I'm like, that was supposed to be my partner. And I found out who he was, and I was like, oh my gosh, this guy is so funny. You know, he was hilarious. All I know is that I would not have starved if he was my partner, because he lost the least weight, I think, to date. Still, yeah, he almost gained weight.
Really?
Because he ate rats and crab, which they didn't show, and coconuts and bananas and stuff.
But, well, I'm good with the rats, just not the rats. More power to you.
Yeah. Yeah, so then I was living in Boulder at the time, and it was like a year and a half after I had filmed, and we were having a 4th of July party, and I was living like in a community house, and I just extended to the cast members in Colorado, hey, if you're in the area, come by our party. Darrin happened to be in Denver that day to go on a date with somebody else, and the date ended short. And then he remembered, hey, Tara is having a party, so I think I'm going to go to her house. And he came and we met, and he thought I was still married, and I wasn't. And we just really clicked. And then the weekend after that was, I don't know if it was the first, but it was one of the first Naked and Afraid reunions that we had that was not through Discovery. About every year or couple a year, cast members will just get together on the side.
Oh, that's
and
so nice.
We hit it off, and a bunch of us were supposed to go to a place called Valley View Hot Springs, which is a clothing optional hot springs. And like, as the weekend progressed, like people kept saying, no, I can't go now. No, I can't go now. I'm not going to go to the hot springs afterwards. And it just ended up being Darrin and I. And then that's where we fell in love. So,
that's
yeah.
so nice though. I can't really.
That's that story.
That's really nice though. No, really, that's awesome. You know, it's funny because in talking with others who have been on the show, you know, everyone I think has the same, question. Oh, well, how is it hard to be naked with somebody, again, but it all comes down to intimacy, the levels of intimacy, what you're there for, why, what you have to do, what your focus is. And, they all say the same thing, that it's really more because you really are dependent on each other on so many levels. That's almost like the furthest thing from your mind. So how was it for you to be on the show and then to do have that kind of experience and fall in love with and connect intimately in all ways, I guess, with your partner now?
Yeah. So I guess the first part of your question was, how was it to be naked in my challenge?
What was your experience like? Yeah, because everyone
Yeah.
else that we've talked to has given us the opinion, because that's the biggest question a lot of people ask, like, I don't know if I could do that, or, how is it not sexual? But this question really fits in now with especially everything you do and what we've been talking about tonight.
Yep, it does. It's like right away, you're going to check out your partner and you're going to size them up, like, do they have enough fat on themselves to sustain themselves, for a week or 40 days or 60 days or however long it is now, are they kind of physically in shape? Like, are they going to be able to like physically work? So at least for me, you're like sizing your partner up, up and down. Okay, then that's over with. Okay, we're done. Okay. And then it becomes like, at least for me, like I dropped into survival primal mode. And if you kind of think of like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? That first level, like that red level, you need food, water, and shelter. Like you just need to be able to like survive. And that's, for me at least, because we were really lacking in food. I didn't just stay in that level because of what happened to me, but that's where I was. And that's where I needed to be in order to like reground and recenter myself. And feeling Mother Earth. But, like the next 2 tiers up or more of like procreation and sexual attraction. I never felt that with my partner. I don't think I could be Dustin's mom, but there's a pretty big age gap between us. So I'm 47, and I was 41 at the time, and I don't know if he was in his 20s, but maybe around the age of 30. And I was married at the time too, and like I said, like I was like that married person who's like, you don't even look at anybody, you don't even smile at anybody,
Right. Yet here you are on this naked show. I'm in the supermarket going like this, but here I'm going to bear it all in the woods.
not like two of our other friends that went, whoa. A chance if you're watching, yes, we're talking about you.
Oh, you leave Chance alone. He's a cutie. That's so funny. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. There was just like, I don't know, like there was no attraction there, but I really like Dustin. I think he's an awesome person. I was just more worried about like food and getting sleep. Because I think like the longest that I ever slept was maybe like 3 hours a night out there. Like we hardly slept at all. So when you're like sleep deprived, and you just need nourishment, but I was always very comfortable being naked. My daughter would even tell you, like, I would like sunbathe outside naked on our back porch. I'm just comfortable, even as like a kid, I would like ride around on my little bike without clothes on, and I'm just kind of free.
And I took her shoes off.
Yeah.
I'm really grateful for that now. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't know. I was just comfortable with that. And Darrin would be like the first person to say, like I even think like one of like his opening lines was, now I just get to be naked and nobody's gonna call the police on me. So like naked for us just comes maybe a little more natural than the average person. Sure. Even here, like where we live, I'm outside laying naked in the sun, when it's hot outside, as soon as like, if there's somebody working, as soon as they're gone, his clothes are off, we're just naturist. I wouldn't say nudist, but naturist, have that more connection with Mother Earth. So yeah.
Very interesting.
Wow.
Before I miss it, we did have one question here from Sando. He got here late, so forgive him. If you already cover this, are there any updates on the trip to Costa Rica in 2021? And I think he came in after we kind of went there. He'll be in Peru and Costa Rica this summer and would love to attend the Earth Tantra event.
Yeah,
so,
he's an Earth Tantra family member. Yay! Good to hear you. Good to see you. Good to see your words.
So,
what are the updates in Costa Rica? The couples event was canceled due to low numbers, but the women's retreat is still on. So, yeah, and I would say that's full. So, yep.
Okay.
We are full.
That's great. It's nice to see that you're still thriving and people are still comfortable to get out and do certain things, despite everything, because we need to do something.
And that's international travel on top of everything, which that's a big time commitment.
It'll be interesting to see how we get that test before coming back into the country in February. Hopefully it'll be at the airport. We'll see.
Oh yeah, that's all crazy right now, isn't it? Where they're going to do it and how they're going to do it and how long and how much before. Oh, it's just nuts. I hope they have that worked out for you guys by then.
Yeah.
Thanks. I think so.
Yeah. I hope so. Yeah.
Brian from Bearded Paranormal wants to know what's the craziest naked story is. And we'll get him on his naked story.
What's my craziest naked story? Oh man.
I assume he's talking about the show, but since
yeah. Okay. All right. So my craziest naked and afraid story. Oh gosh. What is the craziest naked and afraid story? Let's see. It's crazy. Oh my gosh. I'm just thinking right now. Like, that was 6 years ago. I think I was probably flying out like right now to go film. I have to look back on my emails. I would say the craziest naked and afraid story, I would say there would be two. One was my connection with the production person that has become my friend. Such a dear, beautiful friend. And so that friendship that developed, even though he was very professional and I was like the little gnat, he did not want me in his life, keeping distance from cast members, but I was persistent for so long. Let's see, that relationship as far as good friendship goes, and the craziest, I don't know. I mean, I guess that would be probably all the bug bites. Because I had so many, like I had thousands at one time, like literally thousands. And the first time it happened, and it was early on. So I was bitten by chitras, which are in the sand flea family, but they live in the jungle soil, not like on a sandy beach. And come up, and they are over the water, they are over the dirt, they are everywhere. You cannot escape them, and like the production had like the full body netting on them, we're out there naked. And then at sundown, then they all go back into the earth. And then I think during the full moon or the new moon, I can't remember, but we hit cause it was 21 days, we hit 2 new moons or 2 full moons or something. And they were insane during that time. So I had to learn how to navigate the chitras, and people always come back. They're like, well, why didn't you try mud? Why didn't you do this? And I tried it all, but they're the size of the tip of a pencil, right? So this little pencil tip and they will go through the mud. They will go through anything you put on your body. And when I first got them, they go into your skin and you can see little black dots and they're moving underneath your skin.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah.
I'll say it on behalf of everybody listening out there. Hell no.
They're having a party in your skin.
No.
And then they like die in there and then you get an infection and then their toxins released. And it's funny that the first episode that I ever watched was with EJ. Oh, no, maybe it wasn't EJ, but it was the one with Laura. And anyway, she got like these huge elephant feet because she was bitten by chitras. Oh. And that's what happened to me. I had elephant feet for a couple of days. They didn't show that. But my feet bloated and I had this burning sensation. Like I literally I just wanted to tear off my skin. I didn't care. I just wanted to tear it off. It burned so bad. And my first reaction, I started to hyperventilate, burning so bad. The medic guy, which they don't show, but he had to coach me into calming down. This was before I knew anything about breath work or moving energy, moving through pain, anything like fast, that. Huh? You learn fast, right? Because they're like, we're afraid, you're going to have an anxiety attack and that means you can't stay here. And I was like, no, it's like week 1. I'm not going home. So I had to learn how to be with that pain. And I learned like ash soothed the bug bites. I would stand and smoke and it would help. It wasn't, I would say it would maybe cut back down on the chitras like 50%. So it wasn't 100% foolproof. Even putting because we ate termites, even putting termite nests. I mean, I tried everything in the book, but I just learned how to deal with the pain and I would ash in my hands. And for hours at a time, I would stand and smoke and just rub ash. And I would have to run my fingers across my body from ankles, and I still remember this today, up and across and then down my back, to keep them off of my body. And I will tell you one thing right now, once I thought I might go on the show, I was one of the girls who was like, I'm growing out all my body hair. I don't care because it's going to be blurred anyway. Who gives a crap? There's a reason why we have hair on our body. Because people that I talk to who does who do all the wax before going out there, the bugs will go everywhere. So I was blessed with my Greek heritage that I can grow hair fast. That was one of my preparations. Oh my God. I even had cockroaches climbing in my butt crack in between my legs on the first few nights. So that
what?
What? Yep. We disturbed a cockroach.
Special person to do this, I can tell you that.
Oh my God.
People try out for this show.
Don't worry about what you look like. Grow that stuff out. Grow it out.
Oh, wow.
I tip to anybody. Grow it out. Just grow it all out. That's a true survivalist there. You're not worried about what your body looks like.
Yep, and you can have all the credit for that. Okay, Brian, you know what? This is the guy from Bearded Paranormal. Love it.
For those that are listening for other comments that we've gotten going on, we have a little. You go and look at the video. Brian, a friend at Bearded Paranormal, says, "Watch," and then he's going to stay in PA because of those bugs. Yeah. So you really come to your mental outlook, and that fire really becomes an important part. Is fire part of your ceremonies now? I know you mentioned the volcanoes and stuff, but that pretty much had to be your lifeblood to turn around and keep that soot. Mm-hmm. So do you do a lot of saging? Do you do a lot of fires with your ceremonies? Is that something that's right there? in your development of your ceremonies? Fire and smoke, I guess.
Yes, 100%. It's hard in Colorado because it seems like we're on a fire ban, 90% of every summer. But when we are able to have fires, fire represents, rebirth. It represents letting go of the past and making way for the future. Fire is my power element. I feel like I draw a lot of energy from fire. Saging, yes, we always smudge before we go into ceremony and I can't say all of my events because indoors it's a little hard, depending on where that indoors is located, but 100% outside. I actually make my own smudge sticks here from the land, and honoring the land and also giving back in that way. And connecting with all the elements, I feel, is really important. But we do, when we're able to, we have a very special fire ceremony with the cacao ceremony woven into it in Earth Tantra Retreat Level 1. So,
Awesome.
Yeah. Yes. And my partner Darrin is coming home. Do you want to meet him and my dog?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Here they come.
Come say hi. Nugget, come here. Come here. This is Nugget.
Oh no, you're frozen.
You froze. Oh, there we go.
There we are.
Oh,
hi, Nugget. Oh, look how cute.
He is a healer, literally a healer mix.
Oh,
he's amazing. And then this is Darrin, other naked.
Wait, Tom's going down. There he is. Hi.
So, yeah. This is my little tribe here, the three of us.
You want some dinners?
Again, I put Tara's website back into the comments again. Please check out some of the wonderful classes she has. Are you doing more stuff with crystals as well in any of your upcoming classes? Is that part of the chakra healing classes and such?
Mm-hmm. The crystals are a part of healing your lower 4 chakras and opening your higher 3. Again, the next healing your lower 4 chakras starts March 7th. Crystals are very dear to me, and rocks and things, especially with my earth science and geology background. That's what I used to teach. So that science side of me has always been connected. But I really don't focus just on crystals solely, and they're more of a tool, including colors, vibration, foods to eat. They're just a piece of the tool in connecting with the chakras. Yes.
Love it. Love it. Love it. That's fantastic. Can you believe we're almost out of time again already? This
I know.
second part flew. Oh my God.
Crazy.
All right. That's great. So Tara, just before we have to wrap up here, if people want to get a hold of you, if people want to contact you, about classes, or if they have questions about what you do or who you are and, what you're involved in and what you're going to offer, especially up and coming in the future, to see what you're also be offering, where can they find you? What can they do?
Mm-hmm. If you just Google Earth Tantra, the Earth Tantra website will come up. I'm also on YouTube. There's a lot of meditation videos, free content out there, ways to connect with Mother Earth. Yeah. Actually, I'm working on a new moon and a full moon meditation, which will be up on YouTube here shortly in the next week or so. Probably full moon first, and then the new moon meditation closer to the next new moon. What else? Instagram, Facebook. If you go to earthtantra.com, at the bottom, you'll see at the bottom of every page, you can sign up for the Earth Tantra newsletter. My phone number is at the bottom as well. And you can text me, call me anytime with questions. And I also offer a complimentary 30-minute discovery session under the virtual page. So yeah, so it's just free. It's no loss. Just come and gain, and let's talk. And how can I help you and support you? Or if you just want to
awesome.
have a couple questions about Tantra, I can answer those too. So
Wow, that's amazing. Any other questions, Michael?
No, I always have questions, but there's always questions going on up here. It's just finding out what slot they're going to pop out of, you know?
No comments. Excellent. Well, it's been truly a pleasure.
Yes.
I have learned a great deal. I can tell you that. We really appreciate your time and coming on. I'm so glad we finally were able to get you on here.
Me too. Oh my gosh. Me too. Yeah. Thank you, Christy, and thank you, Mike.
Yep. I'll see you on Sunday. So,
all right. Yeah. See you Sunday. Thank you.
Hey,
both.
don't let him slide either. You just let him have it. We'll be home by Friday. So, you know, and crack that whip, man. Yeah. Awesome. Well, you best of luck with everything. You know, please keep us posted and with your house and everything too. And yes, we wish you all the best. Thank you so much for coming on with us tonight.
Thank you to both of you.
Okay.
Right.
Have a great night. Bye.
Bye.
Oh.
Wow. Another great evening. Another great guests.
Yeah, I had no idea about some of that stuff. It was really cool. Really.
So we have an event coming up later in the week.
We do.
As long as I don't get hit by a train or something.
Listen, dude, I need to get out and do an investigation. So, you know, let's not like screw this one up.
Yeah.
No.
So please subscribe to our YouTube channel, like it, and subscribe so you know when we got that stuff coming up this week. Thursday night, we are doing a live investigation. So
yes. Help us celebrate our birthday. Where's My Sage is 1. Yes.
Yes.
You know, so we'll be posting that soon. All right. So
all right.
Yes. Thank you much for being here, all of you tonight again. Oh, I can't talk anymore.
Yep.
It's been a long day.
All right.
All right, everybody. Until next time, stay safe.
Sample on.
Good night.
Moved all my stuff around. That's what I'm looking for.